He promised a guaranteed yield, an ironclad return in the volatile world of cryptocurrency. And then, along with $1.5 billion of his investors' money, he vanished. This is the story of Zhu Yongping and TokenPlus, a saga of digital deception that stretches from the gleaming towers of Shanghai to the shadowy corners of decentralized finance. It's a modern-day heist where the getaway car is a string of code and the loot is almost impossible to trace. In the feverish rush of the last crypto bull run, promises of high, stable returns were the ultimate siren song. For thousands of investors across Asia, that song was sung by a man named Zhu Yongping. His vehicle was TokenPlus, a sophisticated investment fund that billed itself as China's premier gateway to the lucrative world of DeFi or decentralized finance. It was a tantalizing pitch. Let the experts navigate the complexities of crypto, and you just sit back and watch your money grow. The fund claimed to use cutting-edge arbitrage strategies, AI-powered trading bots, and exclusive access to high-yield protocols, all buzzwords designed to inspire confidence in open wallets. For a time, the illusion held. Investors saw impressive gains on their dashboards, their digital portfolios swelling with what they believed were real profits. The platform was sleek, the customer service was responsive, and Zhu himself, a charismatic figure with a seemingly deep understanding of blockchain technology, was a master of reassurance. He cultivated an image of a visionary, a financial guru leading his flock to a new era of prosperity. Trust grew, and so did the fund. People poured in their life savings, convinced they had found a golden ticket in the wild west of digital assets. The total assets under management ballooned, climbing past $1 billion, then hitting an astonishing $1.5 billion. Then, in late 2021, the music stopped. The Chinese government, which had long been wary of the crypto industry, brought down the hammer with a sweeping, unequivocal ban. All crypto-related transactions were declared illegal. Exchanges were shuttered, mining operations were unplugged, and a wave of fear washed over the domestic market. For most, this was a catastrophe. For Zhu Yongping, it was an opportunity. Under the cover of the nationwide chaos, TokenPlus quietly went dark. The website went offline, the customer service lines went dead, and Zhu Yongping, the man with all the answers, was nowhere to be found. Panic quickly turned to horror as investors realized the truth. Their dashboards were a facade, their profits were imaginary, and their entire investment, all $1.5 billion of it, was gone. The digital breadcrumb trail was deliberately complex, designed to be a labyrinth for any would-be pursuer. The initial theft wasn't a simple transfer from one wallet to another. It was a sophisticated multi-stage operation, executed with chilling precision. Investigators from law enforcement agencies in Hong Kong and Singapore, working in a joint task force alongside the security team from Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, began the painstaking process of untangling the web. They discovered that the funds hadn't been moved as Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are relatively transparent. Instead, they had been systematically converted into a variety of stablecoins, digital tokens, like USDT and USDC, that are pegged to the US dollar. This was a critical first step for the thief. By converting the volatile assets into stablecoins, Zhu locked in the value of his haul, insulating it from market fluctuations. More importantly, it prepared the funds for the next phase of the escape. The stablecoins were then funneled through a series of DeFi bridges. These are protocols that allow users to move assets from one blockchain to another, from Ethereum to Solana, from Polygon to Avalanche, and so on. Each jump across a bridge created a new layer of obfuscation. The funds were split into thousands of smaller transactions, sent to newly created anonymous wallets, and mixed with other assets, a process known as chain hopping. It was the digital equivalent of a money launderer changing currencies in a dozen different countries, each time making the original source harder to pinpoint. The joint investigation became a high-stakes race against time. The Binance security team, armed with powerful on-chain analysis tools, worked to trace the flow of funds across these disparate networks. They flagged suspicious wallets and coordinated with other exchanges, trying to freeze any assets before they could be cashed out into traditional currency. Law enforcement in Hong Kong and Singapore, meanwhile, focused on the human element. They interviewed former TokenPlus employees, scoured financial records, and tried to piece together Zhu's movements in the days leading up to his disappearance. The picture that emerged was of a meticulously planned exit. Zhu had liquidated personal assets, severed ties with associates, and left behind a life that was, in itself, largely a fabrication. He was a ghost in the machine long before he disappeared. This case ripped the lid off a dangerous misconception at the heart of the crypto world: the belief that a smart contract is inherently safe. The term itself sounds reassuring, suggesting a piece of code that is both intelligent and legally binding. In reality, a smart contract is simply a program that runs on a blockchain. It's automatically executing certain actions when specific conditions are met. It's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for creation or for destruction. For Zhu Yongping, it was the perfect weapon for a grand-scale theft. Here's how the trap was likely set. The smart contracts governing the TokenPlus investment pool were almost certainly designed with a hidden backdoor. On the surface, they appeared to be standard staking and lending protocols, taking user funds and deploying them into DeFi markets. The code would have been audited by a seemingly reputable but ultimately complicit or incompetent firm, giving it a veneer of legitimacy. Investors, even those with some technical knowledge, would have looked at the contract and seen what they expected to see: a system for generating yield. But buried deep within the complex lines of code would have been a single devastating function. This function, often called a rug pull function or a God mode switch, would have given one specific wallet address the owner's address. Controlled by Jutha, unilateral power to withdraw all funds from the contract at any time, bypassing all the standard rules and withdrawal procedures. This function would not have been visible on the user-facing interface. It was a secret key, a master override that turned the community-owned vault into a private piggy bank. When the time was right, with the cover of the government crackdown providing the perfect smokescreen, Zhu triggered this function. In a single transaction, the smart contract, which was supposed to be the immutable guardian of $1.5 billion in assets, was instructed to transfer everything to his control. There was no hack, no exploit of a vulnerability by an outside party. The system worked exactly as its malicious creator intended. The contract was not broken. It was followed to the letter. It was a self-executing heist, a theft carried out by the very code that was meant to prevent it. This incident served as a brutal lesson. The security of a smart contract is not guaranteed by the technology itself, but by the integrity of its creators. Without transparency and a truly decentralized governance model, a smart contract is just a fancier, more efficient way to run a classic Ponzi scheme. The promise of automation and decentralization had become the perfect camouflage for old-fashioned human greed. Zhu Yongping didn't just steal money, weaponized the very promise of DeFi against the people who believed in it most.